Welcome everybody. Many high school students that plan on continuing their education beyond high school approach the educational expenses with blinders on, and many of their parents that attended college in the past believe that college planning process is no different than what they went through 20 or more years ago, and that is apply to college, get admitted, pack your bags, and off you go. In talking to students approaching college age, I have yet to meet an 18-year-old or many of their parents that really understands the college planning process. Most students do not truly know why they want to go to college. With college costs hitting all-time highs and the need for some advanced training or education after high school, families should put more effort in preparing their students for their financial future. Now, this presentation is intended to give you a simple 6-step process of preparing your student for college. Following these 6 simple steps will help you reduce college costs by thousands of dollars. The first thing we're going to cover is determine if your student is college ready. Then we're going to discuss what is your student's attitude towards college. The next we'll cover what is your student's personality type. Then we'll cover determining what the college will expect you to pay. The next is know what you have available to help pay for college. And of course, last is finally selecting the right college. Now, normally a lot of the parents as well as students will use the final selection here, and they will put that into the first position, and this could be a major mistake. According to the Kentucky Department of Education, only 36% of the 40,528 students who graduated from Kentucky public high schools last spring were ready for college or were career or job ready. When a student is not college ready and attends college, they will normally have difficulty in doing college work and normally will take more than 4 years to complete their education. And here's where the sad point is. Most students that are not college ready will drop out of college after the first or second year of school. When this happens, thousands of dollars have been spent in most cases using borrowed money with nothing to show for the economic outlay. So what do we mean by college ready? Now, before we move to that particular side, I want you to go ahead and pay attention to all of these dark areas here. Dark areas as well as the gray areas. And if you'll notice here, the scale up here, I don't know if all of you can see this, it's between 30 to 39.9% college readiness. And of course, this is what it was last spring. So what is college readiness? According to the ACT college readiness benchmarks, you'll see that the minimum ACT test scores that indicates whether a high school graduate is really ready to enter into doing college level work. Now, by looking at that, you'll basically see that the minimum ACT test score that indicates whether a high school graduates are likely ready for entering college level work is, of course, scoring an 18 in English, 22 in math, 21 in reading, and 24 in English, or science rather. As you can see, the exam consists of 4 parts: English, language, reading, mathematics, and science. Each category receives a score from 1, which is the lowest, and 36, which is the highest. Those 4 scores are then averaged to generate what is called the composite score used by most colleges. The average national composite score is roughly right at 21. Now, what does this mean? What this means is about 50% of the test takers are going to score below a 21. Now, very few students get a perfect ACT score of 36, even those who get into the college's top-ranked schools. In fact, anyone scoring a 34, 35, or 36 is among the top 1% test takers in the country. Now, the importance of the ACT test scores should not be underestimated. Colleges certainly take many factors into consideration when they make an admission decision. but scores on the ACT or SAT gives them the easiest tool with which to compare the students that are coming into their colleges and universities. Also realize that most schools make their ACT database or scores that is submitted in by the students, they make it public to the general population. And they know that their reputation depends on high numbers. A college wouldn't be considered highly selective or selective if the student average ACT test score was, let's say, a 19. Now, having a high ACT test score and a strong GPA in above core curriculum courses could increase the students' admission possibilities as well as open up scholarship opportunities, and this is where a lot of individual families are not really aware of. The higher your ACT and SAT test scores, the more possibility the individual student could receive scholarships. Those of you that have students that are in the middle school or early in the high school, make sure that your student is taking a rigorous course study, especially into math and English. Let's go on to the next slide. When I interview students that want to attend college, I always ask them 4 questions. Why do you want to attend college? Many have told me that they want to go to college because all their friends are going, or they want to go to college to get away from mom and dad and live on their own. Some students, basically when it comes to asking what college do you want to attend and why, many students cannot answer this question in an adult fashion. They may say, I want to attend State U because that's where all my friends are going, or I want to attend Private U because it's the furthest away from home, or I want to attend University X because they have a good football or basketball team. What major or degree do you want to pursue and why? Many students cannot tell me what degree they want to pursue and why. Some students say, I want to get a degree in X because I've been told I would do well in this field of endeavor, or they may say, I have not given it much thought because it really doesn't matter right now because I do not have to make a decision until I get into college anyway. The last, and to me the most important question is, when I asked individual students, is money important to you after graduation and why? Now this may surprise many of you, but about 82% of the students I interview say money is not a major concern. When I ask them why it's not a concern, many tell me that as long as they are employed in a field that they enjoy, they'll be happy. Now I understand the importance of loving to work in the field that you really want and enjoy doing. However, if that occupation cannot provide enough financial support to live the lifestyle the individual student wants to live, I have seen many students starting to hate the occupation that they have spent thousands of dollars in pursuing. I have learned over the years that young adults have no idea of what it is to paying bills and taxes, the importance of saving for retirement, and understanding what it's like getting collection calls during the dinner hour because they did not have enough money to pay for their student loans or car payments. Determine your student's personality type. Now, understanding your student's personality could save the parents and students thousands of dollars over the student's stay in college. Every person has a certain type of personality, and knowing one's personality type could basically help the individual parents as well as the students in the college and career selection process. On both of my websites, I have an e-book that I've used for over 15 years. The book has a 10-minute assessment test that will tell the individual student what their dominant and subdominant personality is. Knowing the student's personality strengths and weaknesses will help the family decide on what type of college to attend and really what type of career choices the student should consider. Out of all the assessments that I do for families, this simple personal assessment is the most valued part of the college planning process by most parents and students that I basically do consulting work for. By the time your student reaches their junior or senior year in high school, you'll start hearing terms like EFC. EFC stands for Expected Family Contribution. The EFC is used by all colleges in order to determine what the federal and state governments and colleges expect you to pay towards your student's college education. Now, in order for the federal and state governments and colleges to see what you should be able to afford to pay for the student's college education, you will be required to complete these particular forms. The first is the FAFSA, better known as the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. All colleges, public and private, will require the family to complete this form before rendering any form of financial or state financial aid out to the individual student. Now, in addition to the FAFSA, many private colleges will require the individual families to complete what is called the CSS profile, which is basically an institutional financial aid application. This assessment will calculate your EFC in order to receive need-based aid from the college's own fund, not from the federal or the state. The CSS profile is similar to the FAFSA, but has additional questions that are not on the FAFSA, and they will ask you for things like the value of your home, how much do you have accumulated into your retirement account, and information from ex-spouses if they are the natural parents of the individual student. And of course, there are a few colleges that do not use the CSS profile and uses their own financial aid application. Once again, this deals with money the college could give the student, not not basically from the federal or state government. So we're dealing with the college's own funds here. Now, if you're interested on how to complete these financial aid forms, I have a webcast as well as an ebook on how to complete these forms on both of my websites. What do you have available to help pay for college? There are only 4 ways to pay for college costs. First, scholarships and grants, from savings or investments, pay from ordinary income, and of course the last is borrowing the needed funds. And of course, here's where the problem is. Most students will not get scholarships and grants. Very few people have saved for college, and a lot of parents have trouble of basically taking the monies from their ordinary income to pay for the college cost. So therefore, the main source of money that many parents use is doing it with borrowed funds. And this is one big reason why we're having such a college debt problem. Now, there are a few colleges that do basically go through and suggest individuals to sit down and put things down in writing. So what I normally recommend to do whenever it comes to paying for the cost of a college education before even doing anything is that you should establish a cash flow sheet. You should also establish a tax plan, and you need to review your assets and liabilities. There are a few colleges basically that will basically require you to do this. This is just you using these particular items on a personal standpoint to see how you stand on a financial standpoint. Now, cash flow, taxes, and asset management is extremely important in every family's life, financial lives. However, this is a must when it comes to paying for the cost of a college education. Now, on both of my websites, I have a webcast and a 68-page book that will show you how to pay 65 to 75% or more of college cost without changing your lifestyle and without spending any more money than you're spending right now. So I highly recommend that particular book. The last thing that we're looking at here is in the college planning process is selecting a college that will provide the student the education they need to succeed on an economic standpoint. Now, normally this, like I said before we started this presentation, this is where normally individual families first start out. But in the appropriate way of planning to pay for the cost of a college education and making sure that the college is a right fit for the individual student is that it should be the very last thing once you get everything else in line. So therefore, always use the six-step process from 1 to 6, and making sure that selecting the right college is the very last one that you should be using or considering. Now, here are a few things that I recommend you consider before selecting a college. You've got to look at a college on the aspect of whether or not the college is affordable. Just because the individual student wants to attend a high-priced private university or whatever, if it is not economically feasible, then more than likely you're going to run yourself as well as the student into very high debt, and it could affect the individual student's financial future many years down the road, let alone affect your ability as parents to put more money back for retirement. Also, look at a college to make sure that it's a right fit for the individual students, not only academically, but as well as socially. And of course, make sure that the college can provide the degree program that the student is interested in pursuing. So those are the 3 factors in when you're looking at selecting the right college. Now, when preparing and paying for college is what it all comes down to is money. It is a fact that most families will make financial mistakes when facing these issues. Now, educational literacy is not being taught in high school or college. Therefore, most individuals learn about money from trial and error. And this is really true whenever it comes to the individual students. Even the most financially educated individuals have made financial blunders. I don't know about you all, but I have, through my 65 years of living on this earth, I've made a lot of financial mistakes. Anyone can make mistakes when it comes to managing money, and this is even truer when individual families are facing college cost issues. If a family waits until the senior year to provide for finances or prepare for paying for the cost of a college education, they may find that the time frame of preparing for college issues the right way will be greatly reduced, because it's just like you turning over to your spouse, for example, and you're sitting here age 64 and say, "Hon, don't you feel like we'd better start putting money back for retirement?" Well, this is the same aspect if you wait until the very last minute of the individual student's senior year in high school. This needs to start definitely down in the middle school area, and then giving you a substantial amount of time to prepare the individual students on an academic standpoint, as well as help put you into a financial position to where you can possibly afford the college that the individual student wants to attend. Now, if you want to come back in and look at different issues, I recommend very, very highly is to look at the financial aspects and seeing whether or not you're getting your money's worth when your individual student gets ready to go to college. You're buying a service from the college or university. Now, mistakes, big or little, normally occur when important decisions are made over a very short period of time. Most adults reading this publication or reading some of the books that I have, they understand what I'm saying. We all have made mistakes because we react to problems without evaluating it completely and thoroughly. Preparing for college is more than a cost issue. How the student will cope with college is just as important as cost. If the student does not make appropriate college selections on a cost as well as a social standpoint, they may find adjusting college life very difficult. If they cannot adjust to their new lifestyle, money will be spent in vain, and students' financial future could be altered drastically. Financial mistakes are caused by failing to incorporate a well thought out plan. So therefore, you have a choice. You can choose to do nothing and spend more on the student's college education than you have to, or you can choose to pay less for the cost of a college education by setting up a plan and learning how to pay for college the right way. Now, those of you in the Berea College Gear Up program can go to www.gearuped.com and get all the information that I've basically covered here on addressing college affordability. And of course, I've compiled this information over the last 30 years. You can get this information free of cost. Now, those of you that are not in the Berea College Gear Up program can go to www.collegeliteracyacademy.com and get the same information for an annual subscription of $69.95. So with that said, I want to thank you for your participation in this presentation, and I wish you and your students the best of luck. And once again, if you have any questions or any concerns, you can go ahead and give me a call or send me an email. You all have a good day. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.